Hello, everyone. We are Azeroth Rediscovering, and we are your host. My name is Brett, and right over there in this little tiny Skype window, we have
Jess. It's Jess over here.
Oh, that's great. How are you doing tonight, Jess?
I'm miserable.
What kind of temperature would you say it is inside of your home?
Arctic. It's winter time inside my bedroom. My home is very warm. My bedroom is freezing because I left my window open yesterday. And yesterday it was 75 degrees, and today it snowed. And I didn't come home before I went to work. So I came home from work, and it's winter time in my bedroom, and that's where my computer is. It's awful.
Right, so we might say you need a little frost resistance.
I guess that's something I don't understand yet. Maybe I will. This is a joke about World of Warcraft.
We will get to that. Yes. This is
it's lost on me.
A reference. That's okay. So we had last left off. I had created a troll druid. Nope. I messed that up again. We had created 2 trolls. You were a druid.
Yes, that's correct.
And I am a priest.
That is also correct.
We have lovely neon hair, I believe.
Yeah.
What colors is your hair white?
No, I think it's either blue or green. I think.
Okay. I think mine might be like a fuchsia, like a hot pink.
Yeah.
Or it could be green. I don't even remember. It seems like I would notice that looking. I'm pretty sure mine's pink.
I think yours is pink. In fact, I'm almost certain it's pink. I'm pretty sure mine is like a blue-green variant.
Okay. That works for me. I think you're right. All right. So you now have control of your character. So we made these characters, and we got this cutscene, or cinematic, if you will. This cinematic showed us the kind of overview of Echo Isle, and gave us a little bit of history on how the Darksphere tribe, which is the trolls, are interacting with Orgrimmar, and how they feel about Thrall and their new leader. So we get the message that the Darkspear trolls are scared that Orgrimmar is going to, rather the Horde is going to lead itself to self-destruction. So I don't know if that was always the case. This is the new starting zone for the trolls, and we're getting a little bit of a different backstory than we got before, when they would start in the Valley of Trials. So that's kind of cool. It was neat to kind of see the overview with the cinematic going over there, kind of hovering over the Isle, and getting a little bit of kind of what the starting zone looks like and how, you might be questing.
So let me interrupt and maybe ask a question that might be silly, but it only just dawned on me. When we made our characters, in order for us to play, why did we both have to make a troll? Did we both have to make a troll?
Yes, because we would start in the same starting zone.
So that was the next part of my question. Where you start in the game is dependent upon what kind of character you make?
Your race.
Your race. Okay. Right. That sounds... it sounds like you told me that, but I don't really know that I understood that until just now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we haven't really been... we're kind of going back. We're a little bit ahead of ourselves at the moment, so we're kind of remembering back on this, and as time goes on, things get less and less clear, so... we're kind of remembering back, even though we're much farther than these starting zones. But you haven't really even seen. You just only recently seen the other continent. So every every race starts in a different area. So, but the troll starting zone happens to be very close to the orc starting zone. However, like say like the undead, they start way over. They don't really start near anyone else as far as I can remember. They're a little bit south of the Blood Elves, I think. And then you have the Tauren, who also start on the Kalimdor continent, which is the western continent. Okay. So the undead and the Blood Elves are the only ones over on the eastern continent. As far as the goblins go, you know what? I don't actually remember where the goblins start, so they could be over there as well, making it even 3-3. But it's interesting because they're spaced out, and you get a very different looking kind of format. And I'm excited if we are to make more characters. I'm excited to go back into the undead starting zone because that was always my favorite. I just thought it looked so cool. And since I haven't played since Cataclysm, it would be really great to see what has changed.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that not everybody starts at the same place, but and I do remember thinking back to building the character, you telling me that we both had to we had to agree on the same thing because we needed to start together, but I didn't really realize that meant like geographically. I don't know what I thought that meant, but that makes a lot of sense.
Sure, and it's, I'm throwing so much information at you at once, so,
Yeah, if a lot of it just goes right over my head, and I just, okay, if you want to be a troll, let's be a troll. Like, I don't have any preference at all.
And I've always kind of liked the trolls because you don't see them that often. I shouldn't say I've never looked at statistics, but if I had to take a guess, I would imagine the undead is probably the most popular horde race, just because people are like, oh, that's cool. He's like a zombie, and zombies are cool, and The Walking Dead and zombies are cool. So, I would imagine that would probably be one of the most common. Or even one of, the ones that were added that weren't one of the original, such as like the Blood Elves or the Goblins or the Pandas.
Yeah, the Panda. Now, the Panda was kind of in the bottom middle of the columns. What was that? That was... The columns are separated into Alliance and Horde. Is that correct?
Correct.
So is a Panda kind of like a neutral player?
Yeah, so they start out neutral. I have not made a Panda.
Oh.
They were available in the expansion after Cataclysm, and I believe you level to level 10, and then you choose a side.
Oh.
So that's something that is unique to them.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. So you start out neutral. That's the only race that can do that. But I started to say the trolls were always something that I thought were cool because you don't see them very often. There weren't many trolls, and we're both female trolls, so those are even less common. I think maybe only more outclassed by the Tauren female, which is pretty rare to see too. The Taurens are the big cow-looking people. I don't know if you've seen them.
Like a Taurus, like a bull.
Yeah, that's probably a reference.
The base.
Yeah,
I think.
Or like the Tauros Pokemon.
Yeah.
Tauros. Yeah.
I'm told that taurine, an ingredient in Red Bull, is like bull sperm.
Oh.
And it's taurine.
So is that why it's called Red Bull?
Well, you may think that, and this is all speculation, but taurine is a pretty popular ingredient in most energy drinks, I believe. I don't drink energy drinks because I think they smell like cat pee, and I don't want to drink cat pee. So, but maybe that's the bull sperm. Maybe that's what I'm smelling. I don't know.
It very well could be. Yeah, I don't enjoy their taste. I know we both play video games, so I'm supposed to like those things, but I just don't.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, gamer fuel. So let's actually get into this. So you have control of your character. We kind of see this cutscene over Echo Isle. It goes over the troll history, and it zooms in. It zooms in to your character, and I have to say, I just rewatched it right before we started this, and it got me excited again. Like, just seeing the character creation thing and how it kind of overlays and it zooms in on your character, and it's just like it gave me some good feelings. So anyway, you now have control of your character, and you're not used to really playing video games much. I believe you're used to using a controller. However, we don't have a controller here. We have a mouse and keyboard. So how do you feel about using this mouse and keyboard to control your character?
You're right. I mean, out of the few video games I do play, they've been on. I mean, it was like exclusively paddle operated. So I'm not really familiar. Like I said, I've played around in League kind of, Smite a little and Heroes a little with you, but that is as familiar as I get with keyboard operation of video games. And I think that I thought that I understood it correctly. I thought that I really had the hang of how to operate my character, and wow, like I was moving, I was looking around correctly. I thought I was all. I mean, we played for a couple hours that first night, and it was great. I got off. We finished the game. It was good, and then a couple of days later, you came over to my house, and I got on WoW, and I went to play it, and what happened, Brett? What happened when you watched me play?
You had two hands, as most people do. Apologies if you do not. I'm very sorry. You had two hands, and they were both on the keyboard. Now, you weren't typing to anyone. You weren't sending a whisper. You weren't rage chatting to anyone. You had... I don't even know if I have this down right.
I'll correct you. If you're wrong.
So what I saw was you have your left hand on the WASD, which is good. That's where it should be. And you have your right hand on the arrow keys. So I asked you what you were doing, or I said, how are you operating this? You told me your left hand goes forward, so you press, I guess you use your middle finger for the W. And then your right hand moves left and right and turns your character. And it also moves you back if you want to go back. So it's not that you use W and S to go forward and backwards, and then the other hand is left and right. It's the W is just forward. So you have an entire hand moving just one direction, and you have the right hand moving three directions. I suppose your left hand would also use your abilities. Now, was that correct?
Most of the way, yes. And I have to say that it isn't 100% always like that. But I find that I go forward and right with the arrows with my right hand. I wish that the people listening could see your face right now.
Wait, so you're using middle finger and ring finger on your right hand?
I'm using middle finger and pointer finger. I go forward and left. Is that what I said? Forward and left.
You said forward and right on the right hand.
Forward and left with my right hand. And then my right pointer finger. And then backwards. But I don't often go backwards.
Right. That doesn't happen often.
That doesn't happen. But in the event that I need to, I do use the arrow key. So I go right with my D button.
and that's it for the left hand.
And then the abilities.
Okay.
The D button lets me turn right and forward and left and sometimes backwards are are my go buttons. However, you did teach me that one of my thumb clickies on my keyboard, on my mouse, will let me auto run. So I will reach across and auto run and then come back and steer with my arrows and then go backwards to stop auto running. This is how I operate. Your face.
So the hand comes off the keyboard.
It reaches over, it clicks the button, and then goes back to the keyboard to steer. This is how you play WoW.
It is a way to play WoW.
This is the proper way. It has to be, because it makes the most sense.
All right. Well, maybe we can get you some better keys that you can get used to that are a little bit more ergonomic. Is that the right word?
That word fits.
Is that a word I could use for that? Okay, so you're controlling this wacky way. So you use the mouse to auto run, and you're moving these other different ways. Now the abilities you have, I imagine you could probably reach 1 through 4 pretty good. How is the 5? Is the 5 able to be reached?
5 is good. I actually I know we actually discussed this last night, you and I, when you, because you don't really, we play together pretty much every day, but you only see my actual game when I happen to be playing with you at your house or you come to mine, and
yeah, but I notice those keyboard turns. Any WoW player notices the keyboard turns.
You did not notice that until you were at my house.
When you're just...
That is...
You guys can't see this, but I'm slowly spinning in my seat as to mimic the keyboard turn.
Look,
because if you've played WoW, you know the keyboard turn.
We played for 2 hours that first night, and you didn't notice what I was doing. You didn't know until you came here.
I was new again.
Well, listen...
I hadn't played in many years, actually.
Well...
I'm sorry.
Whatever, it works. And so anyway, you saw last night that I had my ability bar. You said that it wasn't set up very well for, because I have abilities when I'm in cat form, which is what I've chosen to pretty much operate in. I play most of my game in that form. When I'm in cat form, I have 8 things on my abilities bar, and they are numbers 1 through 8. And last night you told me that I needed to maybe do shift 1, shift 2, but that is... I think I can get to 6, 7, and 8 easier than I can get to shift 1, 2, 3, because I mean, and it can be because I'm not really familiar. I'm not super used to doing things like this, but also, I've got really tiny hands. I'm a pretty little person, and it's not natural for my hand to hit shift and 3 or 4 or 5. It's kind of uncomfortable, and if I can concentrate and do it, that would be one thing, but to depend on my ability to uncomfortably reach those buttons when I'm in combat or under pressure when I can't stop and look at what I'm doing or make sure I move my hand correctly, it's a lot easier. I know it doesn't kind of make sense to hit the 6, 7, and 8, but for me at this point, I guess it is easier until I figure out a different way or maybe a different combination. If I hit if I don't know, if I could hit V 1, 2, 3 maybe, or I don't really know how those work. We haven't really spent any time trying to set that extra stuff up, but for the time being, I know that shift in numbers isn't a great idea, and I can hit the 6, 7, and 8 pretty easily at this point, even though you said that is kind of not really good.
Yeah, so the problem I see with 6, 7, and 8 is you're moving your hand off of WASD, which is usually the movement keys. However, I suppose if you have your right hand doing most of the moving, that's not necessarily the case. So maybe that'll work for you. I've also heard of people binding Z, X, C, F and R, binding all of those around that area to different abilities. I've never been much of a fan of that. I think I do have my auto run set to a key right now, right by my WASD, so that is something that I've always done because I always wanted the mouse 4 button to be something that I need. It would be something that I need quick access to, whereas like auto run I don't necessarily need quick access to. I do need a lot of access to it, but not necessarily quick access.
Right, and I think I think I would need to sit probably when you're not, playing with me, because I have found that when I need time to figure something out, you get really impatient. Not like in a aggressive, like you're just like, well, I want to go do this, and like I want to follow you because I want to loot your stuff that you're killing. Like, and I always just feel this pressure, and I think it kind of sucks because I kind of need you to help me figure out how to do bindings, but I also I understand that that's probably tedious and boring for you to be part of. So I'm kind of in the middle of that.
Yeah, we just need to schedule some time where it's, I don't think that we'll be actually playing and we can just help that. Because it does, it's like I've leveled through this stuff many, many times. Most of it, whether it's, new because of the Cataclysm expansion or just new because maybe I didn't see it. Or it's the old stuff. It's like, I've done this for so long and it just seems like we should always be leveling. But now it's so honestly easy to level that it really shouldn't be much of a big deal to just kind of slow down and take some time.
Exiled years ago from their lands in Stranglethorn Vale, the dark-speared trolls attempted to make a new life for themselves amongst the disparate races of the Horde. Under the leadership of the noble war chief Thrall, Vol'jin and his savage trolls had at last found the honor and purpose they had been searching for. But now, under the rule of the headstrong Garrosh Hellscream, the trolls fear that the Horde could tear itself apart. Vol'jin knows that whatever threats loom ahead, whether they be from within the Horde or from without, it is cunning trolls like you who will fight to preserve the honor of the Horde.
So we've been talking a lot about controls. We need to actually get into the Echo Isles. So the Echo Isles, I'm just going to read this straight from Wowhead here. It's a small cluster of tropical landmasses located off the southeastern coast of Durotar. In addition to being home of the Darkspear Trolls, the Archipelago, is that how that is said? Archipelago? Teams with raptors, tigers, and other dangerous predators. So this is a troll-themed island. It's got the huts with the bones, the spears. I think it looks really cool. It's probably one of my favorite, designs of cities there are. It's not very big. It's just I like the huts and the bones and it's not really bones. It's more like tusk and the spears, the kind of tribal looking thing that the trolls have.
Yeah. This is my first, obviously this is my first world, first land, this is my very first impression of the game, as far as playing, and, it's very cute. It looks very cute. It doesn't look super, there weren't many players. There weren't many, we were the only people we saw around for a very long time. Right?
I think that's right. I was looking for other players, but I didn't see them.
We were we were actively looking for other players because we were under level 20. We were level 1 and we couldn't group together. So we spent kind of a little while looking around for somebody that could group us, and there was just nobody playing. And I didn't expect that, but it was a welcomed surprise because I felt I just kind of feel like I don't know what I'm doing and I'm going to be in somebody's way, and I don't it's very intimidating because I know how big this game is. but I don't know anything about it or how to play it. So, like, I was excited to, like, walk in and not see. Like, pretty much what I expected, and this is getting a little bit out of order here, I expected World of Warcraft to be, like, the auction house. But, like, when we walked up to the auction house and it was, like, full of a million people, like, I just pretty much assumed that's what was in World of Warcraft all the time. Like, that's how many people were going to be on the screen at any given time. And I'm very relieved that that's not the case.
And I have to suspect that Blizzard has designed it that way for the starting zone to not confuse you with other players running around. So, like Jess said, we were on a what they call, I guess, is a it's not a trial account. The starter account. Okay, so the starter lets you get to level 20 for absolutely free. Anyone can, as long as you have a Battle.net account, you can get in there, go for free. So we were both on that because, I mean, you might as well unless you wanted to play your older, higher level characters. But we both made new characters, and we were just trying it out to see if we were having fun. Obviously, we did have fun. We're podcasting about it, so we had a lot of fun. Anyway, so this started out a little bit differently. The Clash trainer was showing you the way. Normally, and when I say normally, I'm going to always be referencing my time pre-Cataclysm, because that is when I was heavily into WoW. So normally the Clash trainer would be someone you would visit every 2 levels, and they would give you would get your abilities from them, your spells.
Okay.
So this was a class trainer was showing you the way, and all your quest was through the class trainer. Also, something the class trainer used to do is at a certain level you would get a quest, and you would have to go do that quest to get an ability. It was different for different people. So I can remember, I think a shaman had to get, they had a quest at some early level, I want to say around 8 or so, and you had to go, it wasn't even that high, I want to say it was like level 5, because I can remember being in Valley of Trials as an orc, and you had to go and kill someone or do something, and that gave you one of your totems. Shamans use totems, and you could very easily accidentally skip that quest. Like if your class trainer had a quest and for some reason you missed it, you could go through, you could get to max level and someone would be like, hey, for this fight you need to put down your, say your healing totem. I know that's not the one you got from the quest, but say you had to put that down. I don't have that. Well, what do you mean, why don't you have that? That's a shaman ability. I had to do the quest? Oops. So, like, you could easily skip it and then just not even, maybe notice it for many, many levels, and you could have had this other ability the whole time. So that was pretty interesting. In this case, it's not like that anymore. And I know a lot of you guys, if you've already played through WoW, you're going to know that, like, now you get your abilities, they just go onto your bar. You don't have to go to the class trainer anymore. So it was always exciting every 2 levels to run back to the class trainer and kind of see what you had, see what you could unlock. And you could always look it up online, but if you're new to the class, it was kind of cool going back, and you had to pay money. You had to pay, silver to unlock them, and then eventually gold to learn abilities. And so sometimes it would clean you out, especially when you'd hit like 60, when 60 was the max level. I can remember on my warrior, like, it took, I can remember thinking, like, do I want to buy my epic mount or do I want to get these last abilities? And that was kind of a choice I had to make, if you just couldn't make gold that easy. So, especially if you didn't have a character that was already maximum level. So that was a big change. Anyway, they're going, the class trainers are giving us some quests, and basically what we're going to do here with some of the zones, when we go over them, we're going to kind of touch on some of the more memorable quests that we did. Now, we didn't do every quest in every zone, so we're not going to go over every quest, nor do I think we should. So let's look at this first one that stood out. Jess, do you want to talk about this first quest here?
I think it was called the basics. It was hitting things, and that one it told us it was good for me. I know it was probably kind of dumb for you, but it was just a quest to go. We just had to go around and hit tikis. We had to go find tikis? Was that it?
Yeah, they were like tiki training dummies. I don't know if they were called training dummies, but
yeah. So they walked around and it was good because like I said, I don't know what I'm looking for, but they kind of have like this aura around them, so you know what they are, and you go over and I could be misremembering, but they like kind of like they almost like taunted you, but they're like little sticks in the ground, and you can go over and attack them. And it was nice because I had time to fumble through it and learn, and then like you told me, like, I opened up my spell book and I had a couple different moves. I think I was my character at this point. I was like my human form. And you were showing me a couple of the different ways I can do it, and you had me set up I think I probably had 1, 2, and 3. I think I only had like 3 things to do, and you went over it with me, and it was nice because they didn't fight me back, so I had time to like learn and figure out what I was doing, and I know that you said that wasn't they didn't offer that when you played, that was kind of a new thing for you, right?
Yeah, so they had training dummies, but you wouldn't really see the training dummies until you got into like Orgrimmar, which by the time you get to Orgrimmar, you know how to fight.
Right.
Yeah, so you would just start like kind of killing passive things that, they were passive until you attacked them, but then they immediately started attacking you. And you just kind of have to learn like that. As far as I can remember, I don't remember anything showing you the way other than just go out and kill these things and, come back to me.
Yeah, and I think that's nice because, I appreciate when a game doesn't expect you to know how to play it from the beginning. I get that some people pick up video games and they just pick it up and they start playing it and they know what they're doing and they know how to, even you instantly, I guess it's because you played League, you had a basic understanding, and when you started playing Smite, it came naturally to you, and then when you played Heroes, you already knew how to, but it's for me to walk in and play that game, it's there are 10 people on the computer, they're all going for the same thing, then there's minions, are those real people, games are very overwhelming to me, because I don't, and all 3 of those games look the same to me. They're all super colorful. There's a red and a blue team. Nothing. And I know we've had this conversation many times, and you're like, no, but this is what. But it's they all look the same to me. They just. And I've made the comment to you many times. I don't understand how 3 games can be this big. They have these contests and they're the same damn game. I don't understand. They all look the same. They're all colorful. They're okay, they're gods, they're heroes, and they're legends. What is a legend? I don't know.
They're champions.
Champions.
Even though it's League of Legends. I think they should have been called Legends, but... Yeah,
champions. So it's and yeah, there are little things that are different. I like Smite a lot because those are real people. I guess that's that's a whole different conversation. But they are real things that I mythology. That was pretty cool. Yes. But
there's a real world element to it.
That.
It is. It is.
And so that that stands out. But as far as picking up a video game and playing it, I appreciated that one of the first things they had me do was learn how to fight something that wasn't going to kill me before I figured out what I was doing. It's complete dummy version, and you could skip it because you know how to do it. You don't have to get that quest if you don't want. You can always abandon a quest. You're not forced to do it to move forward.
I Most of the time, that's the case. In this case, I don't know that that's true because this is a starting quest, and you have just one or two at a time. So,
okay,
yeah. So,
I mean, we did it. We didn't try to leave it. So, but
right.
I mean, I've learned that you can abandon quests you agree to take, but so maybe that's not right. But regardless, I really liked that. That was really helpful to me, and it made the game I was like, okay, well, if the game can walk me through the first, and then of course having you around and telling me as I go is very helpful. But I liked that quest. That was a good one for me.
Sure.
What's the next one? What's the next one that stood out?
So this next,
I remember. I know what we're going to talk about, and this was awful.
Okay. So, the next one we have is called Young and Vicious. If you guys, I'm sure you guys probably don't remember the quest names. This is catching a loose raptor, which was one of the first, I thought this was really cool. Thinking back to Vanilla WoW and Burning Crusade and even in Wrath of the Lich King, you didn't really have quests that gave you these kind of new mechanics, which is kind of being able to maybe mount something else or just anything. When I think of WoW Quest, I think of collecting 10 of these or killing 10 of these or kill these things and they might drop an eyeball even though they have 2 eyeballs. Sometimes they don't drop an eyeball. Or go and pick this plant for me. So these are all, when I think of WoW quests, that's what I think of. This one was cool because you got to chase a loose raptor. There was a raptor running around, and once you did get to it, you got to ride it, which essentially was a mount. It was only temporary during that quest, but you normally wouldn't get to ride anything, until level 40, till you got your mount. Or, at least controlling it, you could ride the Wind Riders and stuff, but this was, kind of unheard of. So this was really cool to me, being able to jump, being able to kind of jump on this raptor and kind of riding it, and you had to ride it back to the pen, I think. And I was excited to be in WoW, and I remember, saying to Jess, we were on voice chat, and I was like, we got to catch him, he's running so fast. And it was fun to me because I hadn't been on WoW in so long. So, Jess, what were your thoughts on this Young and Vicious quest?
Oh man, the second I realized what we had to do, it's kind of silly because for some of the quests, it's, it sucks, but I kind of depend. Some of them, if you do it, it counts for me too. And I was like, cool, Brett got on this. I don't have to deal with this because this sounds awful. I'm never this dinosaur is running super fast. I can't I couldn't even find him. He was running so fast, and I was a human, and I was just skipping along. And I would see him, and then he'd disappear. And I'm like, dude, I am never gonna catch this dinosaur. Brett's gonna get pissed off, and he's just not gonna play. He's gonna get annoyed watching me fumble around trying to catch this. And you got on it, and I was like, cool, now I don't have to, but then the quest didn't go away, and I was like, okay, and so I found in it, it was not that bad. It was actually really, really fun once I got to it. It was much less difficult than I thought it would be, which makes sense, because it was in the kind of beginning of the level, but that was cool. It was cool to me in a different way, though, because I didn't, you had a different appreciation for it than what I did. It was cool because it was, everything's cool. It's all new to me. But for you, you knew the significance behind, getting to ride that, within 20 minutes of playing the game, as opposed to what it used to be for you, I guess.
Right, and this also, this is one of our, actually I believe it's our first quest. I think this was kind of difficult for our first quest because not only did you have to chase this raptor down that was going very fast, you had to also use an item. You had to use a lasso, I think it was some kind of lasso or a leash to harness him. So it wasn't just go up to him and right-click him, it was go up to him and use this item. So if you're not used to using an item, So by the time you get close to him, if you don't have if you don't even know that you can move the item to the action bar, then you're trying to, maybe click it in your bag, or you're trying to click it up on the quest log, or maybe you don't even know that you can click it, and you don't even know what to do with this raptor.
That's where I was. Like, I didn't realize how to catch him. And I, there's so many things, and it's probably because we were super going through this in the beginning, and I get your point of view where you're like, oh my god, I know how to do this all, and this is great and fun and exciting, and I want to do it, but I have to read every word, and I have to read it again, and then I have to ask you, because I kind of don't know what it means, and when we got that item for the quest, I'm like, okay, where'd that item go? How do I use that? How does that apply to what we have to do here? And it's just so overwhelming to not know what I'm doing, and you depend on me to finish something. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm wording that right.
Yeah, it does, and to be fair, I know that I should slow down. I often think about that when we're not playing, but then when we go to play, that kind of goes out the window, and then I'm back to come on, use the mini map. Just look, I'm right there.
Man, sometimes though,
sometimes,
or what do I call it? What's it called? I call it smorgasbord. That's what it sounds like to me.
Orgrimmar.
What?
The Horde. Orgrimmar.
Orgrimmar. Okay. When we go to smorgasbord, you're on the map, and I see you, and I'm near you, but you're on a different level. And how am I supposed to, the map doesn't show me that you're up a level from me. That just makes me mad. Mini-maps are stupid, and they're only a little bit effective.
I use them very often.
I know you do, and that's why you can read them. I don't, and they don't make sense to me.
All right, we'll do some mini-map training
oh my God.
when we're doing the action bar
training. That'll be a really boring WoW day. I'm not looking forward to doing that one.
The key bindings. Okay, so we have another quest. Jess, do you want to take this? Do you remember this one?
Oh, territorial fetish. I do. We had to. What did we have to do? We had to place something. Is that what we did?
Yes, so there's a cave up to the north, and we had to...
yeah, the cave.
Yeah, we had... I don't think we had to run up there. I think we got to take the raptor up there.
We did. I'm almost certain.
So that was really cool. It wasn't like, hey, run, way up to the north. That would take you about, 2 or 3 minutes to get up there. And I say it wasn't way up there, but it would take a little time on auto run. And I think that raptor that you caught maybe was able to take you up there.
Yes,
and that was cool.
His name was Swiftclaw. Swift-Key is a keyword. Was that not his name? Swiftclaw was that dinosaur we had to catch.
It could be. We've also seen a Stoneclaw, though, too.
Yeah, no, that was Swiftclaw. Because he was swift, remember?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
He's right. So
we go into this cave. That's where he flew us up to, this cave entrance, and we had to go in, and I went in, and I ran, and I immediately jumped down a hole. And then you behaved very well, even though I think you wanted to hit me.
I don't think it was that extreme, but...
No, I'm being very dramatic.
Yeah, so we go in and just immediately just keeps running forward and just drops in the hole. And I'm like, all right, I guess I need to drop in the hole because she can't get back up, and she doesn't really know what she's doing, so she's going to die if I don't go down there. So I hop down there, and it was the same thing. I mean, we could complete the quest, either way. We could have, went around the kind of the spiral to go down towards the hole, or you can just jump in the hole and kind of fight your way out. It didn't really matter. I wouldn't have jumped right in the hole. Again, it doesn't matter. It's a preference.
Yeah, I just, I've learned that I don't get to lead. I'm not a good leader because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going, and me leading is not conducive to playing the game correctly. We can get more into leading on the instance episode. I learned that'll be next, because that was right after this we did our first instance.
Yeah, we might be able to get to it in the next episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we also met up in the front. A little troll NPC came up, and Jess, I don't know if you've heard the term NPC, but NPC is a non-playable character.
Okay.
So, any person that's not a human playing.
Okay.
Can be referred to as an NPC. So we had this male troll come up to us and kind of do some, I think he was doing like a say, so like a /S, and he was like, hey, I'm on this quest too, or something. And it was, to me, Jess could have thought it was a real person, but they were trying to act like a real person. And I thought that was like this cute touch they put in, because you didn't really see that, like, he was trying to mimic a player, and it was just it was a cute little touch, and he went along with us. It was mostly cosmetic, but he did help us out some. He kind of tanked some mobs for us, and it was a cool little touch. Do you remember this little guy coming up to us?
I do. I do remember it, and I'm trying to think. I don't think I saw him speak to us. At that point, I didn't even acknowledge the chat. I'm actually just now, like, 20% reading that. I've started reading it, I guess, a little bit more in the instances, but generally I'm not looking at that chat, so I didn't realize he said anything to us until you just now said that. So I just thought he appeared in the game and helped us out for a minute and left. I didn't realize, it didn't even dawn on me that he could be real or a fake player. He just was there and then he left.
Yeah, so he went through there, and we had to put, what did we have to do? We had to take these, I think these, like, I want to say they were like flags. I know that's not a spite scale flag. So we had to put the fetish on the flag.
Yeah.
So we had to find the flags throughout there, and that was pretty much it. Then you run back out of the cave. You just had to kind of hunt around for them, and that was kind of difficult too, because this was not something. I don't believe this was a shared one.
No, it wasn't.
And when I say shared, I mean my progress counts for my party's progress as well. So we had to find 16 of them. So all these quests we're doing were grouped. So anything that says we have to find an item, we have to find double that item. And I know there's 2 people, but it takes a good amount of time to kind of double the amount.
Well, especially when it's me, because I don't make progress quickly at all, especially like back then. You basically had to follow you and you had to point it out, because at that point I just didn't know what I'm doing. I think I'm getting better though. I'm not doing that now.
Yeah, it's really just about looking for glowing things, like glimmering, shimmering,
auras,
sparkly, whatever word, adjective you want to use to describe that is what it comes down to. And if it's sparkly, generally means you can interact with it.
Well, and I noticed that when you get a quest, there's like a circle-esque thing, and whether it's a circle or an oval, whatever it is, there's a thing on the mini-map that tells you, like, these things will happen within this area, and that has been very nice and helpful. Ever since you pointed that out to me, I've utilized that in pretty much every quest we've done since, and now I'm like, I'm at that line, turn around, go back.
Just, what if I told you...
Oh, God.
What if I told you that was not there in Vanilla WoW?
Well, Vanilla WoW sounds like a stupid game. It sounds like a lot harder to play.
Some would say that it is harder, for sure.
Yeah.
There are advantages and disadvantages to Vanilla WoW. there's the nostalgia to it, but there are also so many quality of life improvements that have come with the updates and the expansions that make it to where it's honestly a little more enjoyable in different ways.
So,
and I know people.
Are these things like could you disable that if you wanted? The little, the circle on the mini map that the quest,
yeah.
So if you
the quest helper, I don't know. I don't know if you could disable that.
I wonder if it's kind of like it sounds like it would be kind of cool for, if Vanilla WoW is too difficult, you have the option, and it is by default there, but if you would rather play like this, you can turn it on. I wonder if that's an interface option for the vanilla players.
Right. It could be. But, a lot of people, some people like it, helps them get through there. To be honest, there was a Quest Helper add-on that essentially did that. And I used that add-on once I discovered it. So, because otherwise, what I was doing is I would, Alt-tab over to my browser and then look the quest up and then see where I had to go for it. So it was kind of
That's like the equivalent to like the only video games. I remember my dad playing Tomb Raider 3 specifically. We played all of them, but we got stuck on something in Tomb Raider 3, and I remember getting up, getting in the car, going to the mall, into the store to buy the book because he was stuck.
The strategy guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got up and we drove to the mall 15 minutes away, went into the store and bought the guide because he was stuck, and that's just how he was. Oh my God, he was so furious. So I can't imagine having to do that now for a video game. But that's the equivalent. You could look up, that was your strategy guide.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were tons of WoW sites that had that were out there to help you. Anyway, guys, we are coming to an end. This episode went a little bit longer than I expected, probably due to some ramblings about some controls and just kind of our initial thoughts on our character creation and kind of getting into the game experience. But next episode, we're going to take a look at Sinjin Village, and we'll be leaving the starting zone a little bit. So we'll take a look at Sinjin Village, and we'll see what kind of quests that place holds in store for us. Jess, if you'd like to say goodbye, we could say goodbye, and we'll see him next episode.
Yeah, that'll be good. I look forward. I really liked Sinjin Village. I have liked every place we've gone to has been my new favorite place. So that's exciting to get to talk about. So I look forward to next week. And thanks for listening today.
See ya, guys.
Bye.
1, 2, 3.